Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining our NACTA webinar today. My name is Lorene Romero. I am the moderator. In today's webinar, our guest is Don McGahey. He is the Manager, Member, and Sales of Services for NACTA. In other words, he's the gentleman who does all the bells and whistles in the background to help you with your membership. Today, he is going to be talking about the NACTA benefit of the NAD. This is one of our highest esteem benefits, and Don's going to be able to give you all the explanation to be able to help you to utilize this to your best ability. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Everybody is going to be on mute, and that is to prevent any background sound from occurring while Don's giving his presentation. This is being recorded. I will be posting it on the NACTA YouTube channel within the next 24 hours. If you are not already subscribed to the YouTube channel for NACTA, I would encourage you to do so. We have our weekly webinars posted there, plus Lisa Watson, the marketing manager, also puts up some really timely tips and tricks webinars that are on there. We will have a question and answer session at the very end, so that way just go right to the question box, type in any questions you have for Don. While he's doing his presentation, we will answer them at the end. So for now, I am going to put myself on mute, so I also am not making any sounds for Don, and I'm going to turn the reins over to you, Mr. Don. Thank you, and let's hear all about the NAD.
All right, sounds good. Well, hello, everybody. As Lorraine sort of alluded to, the NAD is probably one of our, in my own humble opinion, top benefits. And we'll kind of go into it, but I wanted to go through the whole process with you today. It can be a little confusing, and we'll try to straighten out any problems you may be having, or answer any questions that you have. On the screen right now, you can see the actual login page once you have logged into your personal site. Once you're logged in, go down to NACTA Community, as I did down here in the, I call it the little maroon bar. It kind of blends in right now. But the NAD forum is the one we're looking at now. If you click on that, it will take you to where I'm sitting right now on the screen, which is the NAD forum. Here you can get all the information that you need on how to post, what you can do, how should you respond, how can you find the archives. There's a lot of information here. So I'm going to kind of go through on maybe a top level with a little bit of detail. You might think it's too much, and I apologize for that. Anyway, so what is the NAD? The NAD is a way for the NACTA members, agent members only. I want to stress that. There are no suppliers, there are no operators, there are no cruise lines. They can't get on the site. The site is only for active NACTA agents. This means that if you have a question about a hotel or a tour operator or anything, the person that responds to you is not going to be the highly paid PR person from that hotel that's going to make everything come out roses. It's going to actually be agents who have dealt with that hotel or that tour operator, and they're going to be able to tell you their experiences. And 98% of the time, they're good. There are sometimes they'll let you know, hey, this is what's truly happening out there, and this is the information you need to know to help your client. So what is it? It's like it says here, it's a conversation. It comes out in the form of an email every night at about 12:04 a.m. If you happen to be sitting up and you can't fall asleep, it will be out. It's going to have questions in there that an agent has asked. For example, you have someone wanting to go to Moscow. All you know about Moscow is what you picked up in a movie. which probably bears no resemblance to what's really going on. But we have agents out there who will tell you, this is a good area for people to stay in. These are good hotels. This is a good tour operator. These are things to watch out for. And they're going to respond to your question. It's going to come out like the next day. And there'll be numerous responses. Some good, some bad, but that's how we learn. When you become an NACTA member, you are automatically put into the NAD. You're put in by your email address that is in your profile, and you're going to hear me say this several times throughout this. This is critically important. The email address that you put in your NACTA profile is the email address that you must use to access the NAD. You cannot post anything to it. You cannot respond to anything to it if you do not use that address. That's absolutely critical. Sorry about this phone. It's we all know it's election time. I'm getting all sorts of calls. Hold on. There, I think I got rid of them. I apologize. As I was saying, that address is very, very critical. One item that I get a lot of questions on from people is, I missed a NAD. I want to know what it said. Well, the archive is available to you. On this very same page, it's down here near the bottom. In fact, let me just move it up to the middle. You're going to see NAD Archive. To access the archives, click on that button. It's going to come up with your email address. Click on Messages, and lo and behold, there are the messages. So if you were looking for something on Costa Rica, just come down here. Oh, here's Costa Rica supplier help, and there was the posting. So you can kind of read through it. You say, oh, I want to look and see if I can see another one. Hit the back arrow. It'll take you right back to that page. If all you want to do is look for Costa Rica and you don't want to have to search through all of this, click on the search button. Type in Costa Rica, if I can spell it. And let me hide this. And click search. And there's everything going back to February 27th of this year on Costa Rica. And you can do that for anything. If you need to update your account in any way whatsoever, here is the My Account button. Click on that. It's going to come up. It's going to give you a screen. This first screen is important because say you're going to go away on vacation and you just don't want to have your mailbox full of an ad. You can come over here and you can click down here, receive no mail. And you will not get any NAD delivered to your box while this is in there. If you want to change it from the one date once a day, which is kind of the one that's most popular, you can select any one of these. Maybe you want to get it. Some people like to get them as they come in. Well, you would click on Normal, receive them as they're contributed. I'm going to leave mine the way it was. There's an Advanced. This is where you would go in if you wanted to change your password. You would enter your new password, verify it, save it, and everything is all set. This is kind of, you don't go here often, but there's a lot here that you can do. I would suggest you do go out. That's how you look for it. You get a lot of information. Oops, let me find where I was here. I think I just lost myself. Oh, there I am. Yay! Sorry about that. All right. How do I post to the NAD? It's really, to put it as simply as I can, it's nothing but an email that's sent to one address, which is NACTA Agent Digest at talk.netatlantic.com. So anytime you would forget that, you can just come down in here and hit the link which will take you out and give it to you, or as many people do, drop me an email and I'll come back and tell you, go to NACTA Agent Digest. But that's really the simplest way. And once again, you must post from the email account that's in your NACTA profile. That's to make sure that only active NACTA agent members will have any access at all. You want to make sure your postings have a meaningful subject line, because a lot of people use that to determine whether or not to read it, because they may not be interested in reading everything in there. They're only looking for certain things. So make that subject line clear and concise. There's a little statement here: don't use a deceptive line because you think it'll get people to look at it. People will get used to that, and then they won't even bother to read your posts. So I really suggest that you don't. And remember, not everybody reads it in the same format. So just make sure everything is clear and concise. And another really important thing is, once the message is submitted to the NAD, it becomes the exclusive copyright and property of NACTA. Okay? So once again, how do I post to it? It's very simple. It's an email to NACTA Agent Digest at talk.netatlantic.com. Now try and make sure you do it in a clear text. There are some people out there whose system, it's not them, it's the system that they're using, sends it in base 64, which, unless you're a programmer, that doesn't mean anything to you, but that's the way the data comes to you. It is totally unreadable by this system, and I have to moderate the system, so when I see one of those, I can't read it. I have to be able to read what's sent. So if it's sent in a language that I can't pick up, can't understand, such as base 64, I have to reject it, and I'll send it back to you, and I'll tell you why. But that is one of the most common reasons why something does not get through. So if you're going to reply to a message, the best thing to do is to copy that part of the message that you're replying to and stick it in the email that you're sending, and then put your response with it. Whatever you do, and this is a very common error, do not hit your browser's reply button. If you hit the browser's reply button, it will send the entire NAD posting as part of your post. The system does not handle that. It will automatically reject it. And it comes to me, and then I send you a note saying this is why it came back, but that is why. Do not hit the browser's reply button, because your post will not get in that night's NAD, and if you're looking for something in a hurry, you won't see it. Now, if you're going to reply and you're going to quote the previous message, you can do that. You should always provide context in your reply so that people will be able to tie your response to the prior, to a prior posting, so that maybe they keep them all together, which is a little hint. A lot of people will take and create folders, and they will copy a message out of the NAD and stick it into a folder if it's in an area that they deal with a lot. It's a good way for you to compartmentalize your emails for, say, Rome or Paris or a given cruise ship or a given line or anything like that. You can kind of put them together by sticking them in folders. It makes looking for the older postings much easier. Should you mail a copy of your response to someone? You can. A lot of people do, but it is best if you put it into the NAD so everybody can learn from the response that you're giving. Plus, you figure if 10 people do it, and I have submitted a question, 10 people answer me, and they all decide to answer me individually, as well as in the NAD, that's 11 emails I'm going to get. I don't know about you, but I get a lot of emails, and it's easy to miss them. So please, if you can, just do it directly into the NAD. That's probably the simplest and easiest way to do it. This next section is, as you can tell, grammar and spelling and important are all misspelled. That was on purpose. Formatting, gramming, and spelling are important whenever you're sending texts. I've found that if you're doing something other than a short question, it's probably better to create your message in Word or Notepad, something like this. Spell and grammar check it, and then just copy and paste it into your email, and then submit it that way. That way your grammar is right, you've got it all lined up right, plus it makes you read it a second time before you send it, and you can make your questions a lot clearer sometimes by reading them a second time. What about correcting somebody? It's really not worthwhile, nor is it really acceptable to publicly correct somebody's spelling or grammar in the NAD. Keep in mind, a lot of our members, English is not their first language. So kind of put yourself in their boat. Maybe you don't know their language well, but you try to answer in it. You're going to get things grammatically incorrect. Don't correct them. It's just not right. Okay? And please don't shout. No capitals. All right? Don't send a whole email in capital letters. It hurts my ears. And avoid using short forms, like you get used to things like Twitter, where you've got to do it in so many characters. So you start putting an R in for the word R, or a for four. It really isn't right. Go ahead and take the time and spell it out correctly. All of this, like I said, you can find in that section. I'm not trying to blur people's eyes. I'm trying to move it slowly. Okay, what should you not post in the NAD? As long as your post is related to travel and it's not, off the topic, you're not making political statements, you're not advertising something, then it's okay. But don't post commercial ads. I've had people submit ads. Don't do that. Don't put in things like, how to make money on the side, or surveys, or requests for people to send greetings, things like this. You really don't want to do that, because first place, I'm not going to let it go through. But it's just not really what the purpose of it is. Another one, especially at this time of the year, political messages. Don't put political messages in there. This is for people who are looking for information on travel, not for your opinion on a given candidate or a topic or something like that. That has no place in the NAD. And if I'm narrating it or moderating it, which I usually do, it won't go through. I'll be returning it to you and telling you it's not suitable material. So please don't do it. And don't get inflammatory in what you post. Some people, disagree with someone. Well, that's fine if you disagree with them, but don't get inflammatory, because if it's inflammatory, it won't get posted. If it's just a disagreement and you say, no, this is not right, this is not, blah, 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 then that's fine. But if you get inflammatory, it won't get posted. I'm not trying to be to censor anybody, but the NAD is not there for that purpose. If somebody posts something that you're not in agreement with, that's fine. You don't have to agree with everybody, but or if you do agree, but don't put in there and say, yeah, me too, because nobody knows what that's even pertaining to. Or right on, brother. If you got something to add in there to help make a point or something, that's fine. But don't just put "me too" or something. Make it meaningful. Another thing that people do and they don't realize they're doing a lot is don't post subscribe or unsubscribe requests. They don't belong in the NAD because you automatically, if you want to unsubscribe, there's a link in every NAD that goes out that you can click the unsubscribe button and you won't get any more. Maybe you might hit it accidentally, which a lot of people do. Then I get emails on why they're not getting the NAD. And I check and it says they were unsubscribed. So just kind of watch what you're clicking on. Don't post private emails. I think that really doesn't need any explanation. You just shouldn't post private emails. Remember, it's for the benefit of all of our members so that they can learn from it. That's very, very important. And remember, a lot of times we at NACTA do have the final say on what goes in. I don't think I have, in the last 3 years, I think I've probably posted every message with 1 or 2, to be quite honest. Very seldom is there anything that comes through. You guys do a pretty good job on that. I'd already shown you a little while ago about a way to change what you receive. If you wanted to change how you receive the digest, say you're getting it on the one digest every night, and you would say, no, I'd rather get it as they come out. You can go into your account, like I showed you a few minutes ago, and just change it. And then if after a while you say, oh, I'm getting overwhelmed with emails, you can go back in again and change it back to once. There are about 5 different options in there. The 2 most popular are the receiving them as they're contributed, or the default, which is the one when I set you up, I set it up 1 message for the day. If you want to change that, you can change it yourself. If you don't feel comfortable, you can always send an email to NACTA@NACTA.com, and then I can change it for you. But that might take me a day or 2, but it can get done. If you feel like you've been insulted, and I think at times we've all kind of felt that way, let me kind of catch this up just a little bit. What should you do? Basically, in my opinion, and what I have found in my numerous years, the best thing to do is just ignore it. Just let it go. Be bigger than the person that's insulting. Just let it go. That's the best thing. But if you just absolutely cannot ignore it, don't write your email and hit send, because you cannot unsend it. And you may regret what you had put in there. So if you're going to respond, go ahead. Do your response. Stick it off to the side for a while. Then go back in an hour or so later, and when you had a chance to calm down, and now you can go through that email and you can still say what you want to say, but now you can say it without being in the heat of battle, so to speak. And you can get your point across in a much more civil way that will just be better appreciated by everybody. Now, if somebody tries to submit a post to the NAD, and so you post it this afternoon, and you get up tomorrow morning and you run to your computer and you turn it on to see the response, and it's not there. Well, what happened? There's a lot of different reasons. One of them I'd hit on earlier before. If it's all in caps, it won't be posted, but I will have sent it back to you and told you why. It could be just something that's not considered appropriate, off topic, things like that. Not something dealing with travel. those are reasons why it wouldn't be there. So kind of look through it and make sure it's not one of those. But the most common has to do with once again, back to the email account that you're sending the email from. As I said before, it must match your profile, your NACTA profile. If it doesn't, the system says you're not a member of NACTA, you're not an agent, I'm not going to accept your submission, and it will not go through. Now, what could cause that? Believe it or not, the most common thing is that you waited until the last minute to renew your membership. Let's just say it expired on August the 31st, and this is September the 2nd, and you decide to send your post in, and it doesn't get there. That's because you didn't renew. Because at midnight, when your membership expiration date hits, the NAD drops you and will not send anything out to you. So please remember to kind of look at all those different items and then say, okay, my membership is still valid. It doesn't contain any of those. Let me send a message to Don, and Don will find out why. And so you send me the email at NACTA@NACTA.com. I will look into it. I will come back, and I will tell you what the problem was. If it's something I can correct real quickly and easily, which 99% of the time it is, I will get that corrected, and I'll send you an email back and let you know what the problem was and that it's been corrected. So basically, most of the problems with it boil down, as I said before, to your email address. And I know I sound like a broken record, but that is really, really critical. We do get questions from people, can I copy a message from the digest and post it somewhere else? The answer to that is no. That's pretty direct. The messages can't be produced without NACTA's approval. It boils down to a lot of different things. It's just it has to do with copyright and everything else. It's gone in there, and remember, once it goes in, it's in. You cannot copy a message in part or in whole from the digest and repost it without coming back to us. Hey, I'd sure love to put this on my site or something like that. And I would probably say 99% of the time we'll say yes. So basically, that's kind of the most of the do's and don'ts. There's a lot more in here. As you'll see, I can just keep scrolling on down this list, and there's a lot of stuff in here, and I kind of skipped over some of it because it's not something that you're going to, to do anything with. Throw the phone away. That didn't work. Hold on one second. This phone, I happen to be one I can't mute, so I have to apologize for that. But anyway, that kind of brings us to the end of that. If you've got any questions, which I'm sure you do, please let me know, and let's try and get them answered and cleared up for you.
Don, would you be able to actually show an example of the NAD list? Some of the messages?
You mean well, I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Well, we're on the website.
Yeah.
For people who have not been on the list before, it might be helpful for them to be able to see it.
Well, I could pull up yesterday's NAD if that's what you mean.
That'll be perfect.
Well, bear with me a minute.
And then maybe be able to show people how to respond, because you'd mentioned, let's say someone had, so you're not emailing the entire list, how you would be able to just cut and paste and show how to do that.
Okay, what you see on the screen right now is last night's NAD. Okay? A lot of stuff in here. Here's all the different questions. As you can see, they come in lots of different forms, and some of them are not that readable. All I'm saying is, if you were going to respond back to somebody, just in your email, just copy, if you want to, copy that, put it into an email. Let's see here. It kind of sort of says, why don't you do this? And I'm not sure why, but they want it to stand out. So it stands out as that was the question, and maybe you put up here, this is my answer, because I'm not going to read it. Okay? I actually do type better than that.
And would you recommend putting...
You would put it up, NACTA Agent, and there you go. And then here in the title, this is Hammond. There would be your subject, okay? And you could put all that in there, put your answer in, and you hit send, and off it goes. And that's the easiest and simplest way to respond. Is that what you were looking for?
It was. A couple of people had asked.
Yeah, I think that's the simplest way to do it, to be quite honest with you. You don't want to come down here and hit reply. Somewhere down here there was a reply button. If you if you hit this reply right here, let's just say hit it. Look what's in there. Everything. And all that would come forth, and then if I went ahead and let that go through with your response, the first person would call me is someone named Lorraine, would be asking me, why did I put all of that through? Because it's too many, you know. It's just too much. So that's why I'd say the simplest thing is just to copy what you want, throw it in the email, put your answer in there, put the subject that ties into that particular response, and that's it.
Would you recommend when somebody is replying to the list that they remove any of the images or emojis out of their signature line?
Absolutely. Because it just takes up space. And if you get a day that's got a lot of responses and you're sitting there reading it, you get tired of going through, you know, long signature lines, because some people, I've seen some signature lines that are bigger than the response. So, yeah, I would put your name in there just so people know who responded, but I wouldn't put an entire signature line in.
Okay. And remove any birds or emojis or pictures, any graphics, GIFs.
Yeah, anything if it's not really necessary for the response, take it out. Because it's just more for people to read. And not only that, if you're going to store it on your computer, it takes up more space.
Got it. Question, if I have updated my profile, NACTA profile, will my NAD be updated automatically?
No. Excuse me. That's because in order to update once you update the NAD, your profile, it does not send any information to me to tell me that you've gone in, and let's say you've changed your email address. It doesn't send me a note saying that, oh, Lorraine has changed her email address, so that I would know to go out and do it. What I ask is that if you do anything in your profile, such as changing your email address, which is the most critical, just drop me a quick note and say, Don, I changed my email address from, Lorraine at ABC Travel to Lorraine at, XYZ Travel or whatever. And then I will go in and I will update the NAD. I will update the email system. There's a couple of other systems in the background that I have to update. So no, it does not do it automatically. Okay.
One agent is saying that she is getting the emails, but she's unable to log into the NAD archive that you were showing. Do you know what the issue might be regarding that?
If she's in her profile, and she's already signed into her profile, she should be able to do it unless she's changed her email address, and the email address in her profile is not the same as the email address in the NAD. Then they don't link together, so it says that she's not there. That is usually what the case is. But just send me an email and I can look into it.
Okay, perfect. I'm just looking over the highlights of things that you had mentioned about please make sure not to email the entire list. You just cut and paste and put the message. You can email the person individually. However, this is a training list for us all to learn from one another, and that if you're going to reply to the group with that, just that part of the message, but you can also email that individual. That way we're all learning.
Correct.
That you need
there's nothing to prohibit you from emailing somebody directly. You can do both if you want, but we do strongly recommend that it goes to the NAD so that everybody can learn.
Okay. And I'm seeing a couple people asking if they have the correct email addresses. I wouldn't be able to know that, and Dawn wouldn't be able to answer that question here online. You could email Dawn directly if you have questions. First thing I would recommend is going to your profile, looking to see what that email is. If you are no longer getting the NAD list and you've recently changed your email, I would recommend emailing Dawn directly at NACTA@NACTA.com. Let him know what your name is, what your current email is that you're seeing in your profile.
Yeah, one other thing along those lines, sometimes it is not anything that you have done. By that I mean it may not, your email address may match, it may be correct, but if you're not receiving the NAD and that is correct, there is a possibility that your server is blocking it. And I will know that if you send me the information, because we get a report on every email that goes out, and if it's successful, it tells us it was successfully delivered. If it wasn't, it tells us why. And then we can look in and see, in the majority of those cases where it's not the email address, it is because the server on your end is blocking the emails. Now, why, you ask? Are they being blocked? There is another organization out there that has NACTA in their name. They have been known to send spam, tons of spam, and some servers have anything that says NACTA from this particular area blocked. That does happen sometimes. But I can find out.
Dawn, could you show the email that you just showed, because we've got a question about how to email the NAD email list. I know that it's at the bottom of every message, but if somebody is new and would like to see how they are able to email the list, how do they find out what the email address is?
You mean how do they email the NAD itself?
Yeah, I know at the bottom that it has subscribe to, send a message to.
Okay, well, right here, if they go into their profile, right down here, how do I post to the Agent Digest? It says, however, you can use this link. If you click on this link, there it is. Pops right up, NACTA Agent Digest at talk.netatlantic.com. It will go to whatever your email is, and it'll drop that, start the message off for you. Once again, let me close that one down again. It's right here. Use this link. See how it changes color? Just move up there, get your little hand, click on it. It's as simple as that.
And also, just as a reminder for people who have more than one email address, you do need to remember to email from the actual email that is with NACTA. For example, if I had gone to the website and that popped up, it would probably pop up in my Lorene@mac.com email account, which means it would bounce. So I need to remember to have it set that it's coming from my sharptongued@mac.com account. So for those of you who have more than one email address, you need to remember to make sure it's being sent from the address that NACTA has on file.
Correct.
You had an email message from yesterday. Is there a way on that email that you showed us at the bottom for people to be able to mail to the list? Or is that only an unsubscribe?
That's an unsubscribe.
Okay, perfect.
I mean, what you can do, you can always hit the reply button. All right? Go up, type in your message, and then delete out everything else. I mean, it's a little lengthy, but that would be another way that you could do it. Let me see if I can go back into here. Let's just say it was one of these. You could go up here. I mean, this is always a last-ditch effort. Click on reply. It's going to automatically reply back to the NAD. And then just come down here and just delete it. And then you'll have up here whatever you wanted. That's just another way to do it, but please make sure you deleted the other.
And when you do that, I'm looking right now at your message, and it had the title. Change the title to the topic that you want. That way people can be able to look at it. Right.
Right. Should you come in here, you put in the topic you want, and I'm not going to bother to correct it. Then down here you just come on and put in your message. Delete all this. Come back up and click send.
Perfect.
And you can do that. If you're going to reply, I mean, you could probably even do the same thing right here. Say you're going to reply to the first message, whatever it was. Once you've replied, put your stuff, come down here and delete. Say it was this one. Okay? This is one I submitted for somebody who couldn't get it. Come in and delete that. And pick up from here and go on down, delete the rest of it. And there. You've got, excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. You've got you have your reply up here, and whatever they were for Costa Rica is left here. Okay? And that's all that would have been in there if you hit delete. Okay?
Right. Well, that was all the questions that we had. I wanted to thank you again, Dawn, for giving us the education on how to use the NACTA benefit. And it really is a wonderful benefit exclusive to NACTA members. As Dawn mentioned, the no outside suppliers are on there, no non-members are on there. If your membership expires, you lose this as a benefit. It really is truly a benefit of members only. So as he mentioned, as a member, if your membership expires on August 31st and you post something on the 1st or 2nd, it's not going to go through. So please be sure to keep your membership current. And as a practice, NACTA now has a benefit webinar once a month. The next one that we have scheduled is for September 15th. That is on a Thursday. We try to mix them up the days a little bit to be able to fit into people's availability. In addition to that, I always give a shout out at the webinars as a reminder that the NACTA 2016 conference is held in Fort Lauderdale. It is going to be at the Westin for 3 days. It is also, we are going to be on a 3-night cruise out of the Bahamas from Celebrity Infinity. The dates for that, if you are not already registered, we have a few cabins left. Please make sure to sign up soon. The dates are September 3rd through September 9th. And we are also doing a save the date. NACTA is planning way ahead for the 2017 NACTA conference, and that is going to be September 13th to 16th, and it's going to be in Anchorage. Beautiful time to beginning of fall in Anchorage, to host hotels, to Captain Cook. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. More information will be coming on that soon, but I wanted to make sure that everybody gets that on their calendars now, so that way you're not booking any groups during that time or any personal vacation that's not going to include Alaska. So I wanted to make sure that...
There's a little add-on to that. If you attend the Florida conference in November, as a conference attendee there, you are going to get the first crack, the early invitation, whatever you want to call it, for Alaska, which will give you the ability to get one of the approximately 60 rooms that we will have at the brand new Holland Cruise Line chalet, whatever they call it, in Denali. And it's going to, that FAM, it's a, I believe it's a pre-FAM, and that will include your 3 days. It'll be the train. They have that wonderful, like, what do you call it, Lorraine? Where you have the upper deck, it's all clear, where you can see out, see everything.
The dome, beautiful. Right.
Yeah, the dome, right. I knew I'd think of the word. They have the dome cars up to Denali. You'll stay in the lodge, and then they will bring you back from there, back down to the Captain Cook in Anchorage. There's only going to be 60 rooms. The first come, first serve on that is going to be to those people who attended the Fort Lauderdale conference. So just a little word, if you haven't signed up for Fort Lauderdale and you want to go to Alaska as well, and you might want to take part in that FAM, or maybe one of the post-FAMs that are going to be there, which are going to include a cruise. I believe there's also maybe going to be a pre-cruise. You might want to hurry up and sign up for Fort Lauderdale. And our allotment of cabins on the Celebrity, any cabins that are not booked by August the 26th will go back into the Celebrity inventory. So you have 3 more days to book your cabin at the conference rate. So,
all right. Well, thank you, Dawn, for doing this. We will have this webinar posted to the NACTA YouTube channel within the next 24 hours. I will send a link out to it. Also, as a reminder, as I did at the very beginning, I encourage everybody to subscribe to the NACTA YouTube channel. I will also include that link in the post message that'll go out tomorrow. That way, whenever you have a webinar you want to be able to review, go ahead, go to that, go to YouTube. We have them archived there for the last several months. Occasionally, Lisa Watson posts tips and tricks and how to do things. How do you need to set your reset for your passcode on your profile? How do you get into your account? She does short 3 to 5 minute videos that's going to be able to help you use your membership all that much better. So go ahead, subscribe to the YouTube channel and check it out. You'll get lots of information that about your NACTA benefits. All right, thank you, Dawn. I hope you have a good rest of the day, and everybody mark your calendars for September 15th. We will be having another NACTA benefit webinar, and we will focus on one particular topic.
Sounds good.
All righty. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.